DreadPirateMustache here. I've got the whiskey. Let's have a whiskey day.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Your heart will be free. Being a pirate is alright with me. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yo-ho.
Alright, so it's whiskey day. And that means that it's time to have a drink with the DreadPirateMustache. Got a good whiskey, and a lot of people are going to go off, but this is how I like mine. Some people drink whiskey tonic. I drink whiskey and Vernors, unless it's an exceptionally good whiskey. At that point, I actually drink it straight. But for something like this, this is what I get. So this is an idea I have for a segment I'm going to call Whiskey Days. And it's just me rolling some cigarettes, having a drink, and talking at you guys. So what I was thinking about for this go-around was just kind of an explanation of what I'm thinking about for the channel. And I was going to use this format to talk about upcoming projects, rants, just kind of in general. So let's start off. So one of the plans that I have for the channel is when I started doing research for working on my boat and getting ready for it, I came across a lot of information about it, but the information was lacking. That's good stuff. So I would find, like, my solar panels, for instance. I would find a lot of information on people's solar installs, and I learned a lot from it. It was very beneficial. However, there were certain fundamental questions that they didn't answer. And primarily, I attribute that to one thing that is rampant on YouTube, and that is monetization. So the DreadPirateMustache is not doing this to become internet famous, and the DreadPirateMustache is not doing this to become rich. That is not a desire of mine. I wanted to start doing this stuff to give the information in a different format. It's great if you want to, if you have a project going and you list all the things that you used, which is great if I want to replicate exactly your setup or how you're doing things. The problem is that they give you a brand name and they don't really give you why that piece of equipment was selected, the particular stats on the item. Anybody who's watched my channel has seen my movie about the runabout, and I didn't tell you what kind of bike it was. I didn't tell you what kind of engine I put on it. I didn't tell you none of that. What I told you was the statistics for it, the stats, why I chose that particular bike, so that if you know what I got and why I got it and why it fits for the project, then you can find your own. I will, of course, provide links for the equipment that I use, but and you can see what I used that way. But now that you know exactly what's going on with it, you can make your own decision. You know, you can shop around and do your own things. And that was the genesis of the idea for the channel was to provide what I felt was missing information in a lot of this stuff, because I'm not out to be sponsored. I'm not out to get money from it and everything. In fact, I will not. I have no desire to monetize the channel. So I do this because I want to do it, and as a record of what I'm doing. Because I'm after the fame. No, not really. But it's good to get this kind of information out to the community and for people who want it and find it interesting and everything. So that's the idea behind the channel, is that I want to provide a format that's more informative. Back to the solar panel example, I found all kinds of information. What solar panels to use, what charge controllers to use, how to mount things, and all this stuff. But one fundamental question was never answered, and it was a relatively simple question. It was, what gauge wire am I using from the charge controller to the battery? That's it. That's it. But there's no brand name for that. So a lot of people focused on the charge controller and the information, and most of them, aside from a couple caveats, most of them had like professional installers do it. So a lot of the stuff that was mundane in the install wasn't reviewed, and that was a problem for me, because I'm doing it all myself. Be on the lookout for a future video about the solar array. So that was the idea behind it. That's my plans for this channel. Right now, my plans set at every Sunday I'll be trying to release an episode, and then during the week, possibly about midweek, I'll have a whiskey day. I got enough whiskey. So that's the idea behind that. And this segment, it's just a kind of a way to show you where I'm going. A really good friend of mine by the name of Johnny Pennington, who's a YouTuber, and he's the one that's given me a lot of tips and tricks on how to set the channel up and what kind of stuff I should do and everything. So a shout out to him. And he's really been inspirational in helping to get the channel set up and what I should do, and motivating actually for it. So his suggestion was to do this midweek thing, and I have to roll cigarettes periodically to feed my habit. So I figured, why not? I've got to sit here and roll cigarettes, so I thought I would do it. As always, comments will be enabled on the videos. You guys see something you like or have questions, I will answer them. And that's my intent. Will it ever happen? Probably. DreadPirateMustache has needs. In fact, we were sitting around brainstorming, and that was one of the things, is that, so I currently work, and I get out to the boat when I can. The boat is actually located 8 hours away from me. That's where it was when I bought it. So anybody who's saying, why'd you store your boat 8 hours away? That's where it was when I bought it. And shipping and everything was just not entirely practical due to the cost. So the Falcon stays where she's always been. the good point is that she is actually out on the Potomac. So when I cast off, it's just down the Potomac and into the Chesapeake, and then from the Chesapeake out to the coast, and then from the coast onward. So that's where the Falcon is. I have let me see. Aside from the normal, I own my car, but I'm making payments on the bike. I bought a motorcycle to do the trip because it's that much easier. It's cheaper on gas and everything. So I have a payment on a motorcycle, and I have a credit card I need to pay off and everything. And I figured it out. It's not actually a lot of money. It's definitely something that I could recover from quickly if I didn't have things like rent and stuff living here. So I can't say that I will never not monetize, but that's not the motivation behind the stuff. I'm not looking to do all that stuff. I mean, I do have a Patreon account, and you know, you can always buy the Dread Pirate Mustache a taco or a beer, but I'm not looking to become like an influencer. Dread Pirate Mustache ain't got time for that stuff. The quicker that I overcome these obstacles, the quicker I'm actually out on the boat, and you'll start seeing content produced from the boat. This is after all, the tale of my adventure. So that's the plan. That's the idea. Of course, I work on projects here that are boat related, and that's what the content's about. Is the boat related content. Like, I have all the solar array sitting here. I have the generator is actually right over there. My apartment's a workshop. It's not really like a livable apartment. So that's the idea behind that. I messed one up. I'm loosening it up. Yeah, the runabout sits next to the front door over there. So that's the idea. I would love input and you know, what you guys think, what you guys like, what you guys want to see, questions about it. So that's the premise of the channel, is information and kind of just like documenting the adventure, the journey to it, and the little things that I have done to show it. So, with that having been said, thank you for coming in, having a drink with the Dread Pirate, and hope to see you guys in the future. May the wind always be at your back.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to buy the Pirate a taco, why don't you think about becoming a patron? See the links below. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell icon when you want to be notified of new content. And as always, may the wind be at your back.